What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I want to make a video today that's really pushing very close to lines that I don't ever want to cross, right? But this, I feel like there's certain things that it really blows my mind when I hear certain individuals say certain things, right? And no disrespect, but I hear these dudes that did time on level 1 and level 2, and they talk about certain things and they hold these certain standards, right? And they want to apply certain standards to other people, but their standards which they never lived under, only in their minds, right? And then there's even dudes that never even been to the joint, done a little bit of county jail time, and they try to place a certain code on people that they have never lived under and that they never wanted to. But they function under some kind of weird mythology. They never got to see how things can be. And so they call people cowards and punks, and they folded, and they use these labels, man, where individuals that were really on them 4 yards, really on them 180s, them 270s, really around very serious things, saw some pretty crazy shit. And it's usually those that have been around that type of shit who are the slowest to throw labels. That said, I'm going to tell you a story, man. And I'm going to be as guarded as I can in the story. But I want you to just hear it. And then you decide for yourself if what these level 1s and level 2s and these dudes that never even been to the joint, all these tough guys that never performed under the gun or did shit for whatever groups they claim to be representing. They never represented it where it mattered and where it counted. But they're always quick to say something about somebody else. There was an individual, and while this individual was on the streets, he was involved with very serious people doing very serious things, and he performed great in that world, in that environment, in that scenario. There was never a question mark on his name, his character, his heart, his work, right? This individual is actually, him and his crew and the things that we're doing are actually in a book. And no, it's not the book by Rene Enriquez. So those of you that are going to be quick to say that, it wasn't that book. But there is a book about this stuff. Not what winds up, not the story I'm giving you, but what was happening prior to incarceration. So this individual winds up getting cracked, winds up getting busted, locked up, okay? And while he's in the county jail fighting his cases, it becomes clear that someone in his life is cooperating with the authorities against him. So he takes a deal for I don't remember, it was 18, 21 years, something like that, right? To avoid the life sentence. Goes to the state, but all this time still digging. Turns out that the person who's cooperating against him has cooperated on more than one occasion, okay? So he goes to a level 4 270 yard. I'm not going to say what yard. There's people that are going to hear this story and will probably be like, I remember this. But that's not what's important. So he goes to a level 4 yard. He's not happy about why he got busted. So he starts to push the issue on the person that's cooperating. Unfortunately for him, the person cooperating is related to somebody, to a few people. That means something. And so when this individual was trying to push the issue, push that gangster shit that he had gotten busted for, keep on that same mode, he was sternly advised, shut the fuck up. Mind your own business. He chose not to. He chose to stand on what he decided he had always believed was principle and morals as a gangster. And for that, he got hit. He got whacked. He got moved on. The dude was performing as expected, but someone else was cooperating, but because of things, because of relations, that fucking rat got a good dude hit. So the vato that got hit went to the hospital. They patched him up, went to AdSeg. And while he was in AdSeg, he convinced the administration that it was just all a misunderstanding, that he had no fear for his life, and that he wanted to go back out to the yard. After a while, they let him back out, but not to the same facility, same prison, a different facility, different yard. We'll call it yard. I will hear their facilities, different, A facility, B facility, whatever. And he goes out to another facility, same prison. Gets hit. The dude never cooperated, never did nothing wrong, did everything he was supposed to do. So he gets hit in the second facility, second yard, right? This dude held his mud again. Had to go out to the hospital, get patched up, was back to AdSeg. When this dude was sent to another facility after being hit 2 times now for doing nothing wrong other than pushing a line on an informant, he goes out to his third facility. Everyone is aware. At this point, everybody knows what it's for. They don't agree with it, but they follow orders. He gets hit again. 3 times now he gets hit. But this third time, the shooters that moved on him, they try to kill him. That's what you do. When you move on somebody, you try to kill him. Whether the call is right or wrong is not on the shooter. It's on who sent them. But they made sure to tell him, it's never going to be lifted, Holmes. You can't fix it. They did that out of love. They weren't told to do that. But they knew they were dealing with a fucking gangster that did nothing wrong but push a line on an informant. After the third hit, the dude locked it up. What could he do? Keep going out till he gets killed. That's what these tough guys that have never been in these situations, that's what they would say. He should have fucking kept going out. He should have whacked somebody. Why? Why should he whack a camarada? The vatos that he sacrificed with and for. They weren't the problem. But see, this is the thing that these individuals that talk all that shit, man, They don't realize because they never been around it. This is not a unique story. Maybe not the informant part. That's not always the case where that person, nothing ever happened to that person. Just so you guys know, in case you're wondering. But when those of us in this YouTube thing, when we talk about dirty politicking, these are the kind of things that occur. Good dudes get caught up in something that had no bearing on whether or not they were cooperating, whether they were a punk, whether they had a debt, anything like that. A lot of times it has to do with jealousy and envy. And they wind up on the short end of the stick over and over. This story is for those of you, again, I don't care about, I care about this. If you believe, if you're in the streets right now and you believe that if you make it to the joint, it's all love and the homies and this and that. Listen, Holmes. Don't believe a level 2, a level 1. Don't believe these dudes that never even been to the joint, but they got all the fucking prison stories in the world. Don't believe them. You know damn well you got homies from your barrio that this type of shit happened to. It is a very brutal world. Sometimes the wrong dudes get hit or crossed up, and there's nothing nobody can do for them. And it could be you. All these tough guys, man, that never fucking had to do the things necessary in that lifestyle. I hear them talk. I see them in the comments. And I'm like, why are you on the streets, eh? If you really conduct yourself by those ethics, by those morals, by those standards, you'd be in there. And every single day, you'd be politicking on someone who you thought was your friend. And that friend will be politicking on you. It's a double-edged sword for me, man. Like when I think of prison, I know all the dudes that are in that world, in that environment, functioning under those parameters who wish they were out here. But self-preservation dictates that they have to do what they got to do, and it's a cutthroat, dog-eat-dog world. That's the reality. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a close. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.